National AI Literacy Day, everybody. We're going to get started in a few minutes as people join. If you want to share where you're joining us from in the chat, it'd be great.
Pennsylvania, from New York, joining. Okay, see where else they're from.
I feel like there's no connection for some
From
reason.
Long Island. We talked about Long Island yesterday, right?
Yeah.
They thought that it was funny. Who said it? Was it you? Who said it in
Oh
class?
wait, Maddie said if you told the AI generated image of Rhode Island
Or Long Island.
Long Island, they'd either give you an island made out of roads or a huge Long Island.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't know what we meant. That's what we were talking about yesterday.
Yeah, but if you spell Rhode Island, then
Hey Mike, I remember you.
Not
How are you? I know exactly who you are, by the way.
Not R-H.
All right, gonna get started. Thanks everyone for joining us. So welcome everybody. Happy AI Literacy Day. There are events happening all across the country and around the world today, so please share in the chat where you're joining us from. As part of the celebration, we're presenting a live professional development series throughout the day on AI literacy. Go to ailiteracy.org/synchronous-pd for the full schedule. Throughout the day, you'll have the chance to do a deep dive into the future of technology alongside leading experts. We're really excited about this webinar we have for you right now. We have Alana Winnick, who is joined by high school and elementary school students ages 8 through 18. These students will take the lead in unraveling the complexities of AI in education, exploring the transformation AI brings to our classrooms, grappling with ethical dilemmas, and confronting the gray areas between academic integrity and plagiarism. Welcome, students, and Alana. Thank you for being here. Take it away.
Thank you so much for having us on. I just wanted to give a brief introduction. So my name is Alana Winnick. I'm the Educational Technology Director and Data Protection Officer here at Mechanical Hills. I also sit on the board of directors for NYSCAPE, which is like the New York version of like an ISTE, if you're familiar with that. And I think it's really important to always bring everything back to the students, because at our core as educators, it really is our job to prepare students for this future that is not yet unknown, and they're really the architects that are building the future of the world. So I think it's really important to have them, empower them, and advocate for change. And I have an incredibly supportive superintendent and board of education, and they've really taught me that everything always relates back to the students, and whether it's infrastructure or curriculum, it should always go back to the students. So on a day like this, when we're hearing from educators all around the world and the country, I think it's really, really important to hear from the voices of the people that we're really here for, which are the students. So I'm just going to go around the room and have them quickly introduce themselves, and then we're going to dive in a bit more. So why don't we start with you, Harrison?
Hi, everybody. My name is Harrison. I go to a school called Dreyfus in South Florida, and I am a senior.
And then we're going to go with you, Ken.
Hi, I'm Ken. I go to Potansko Hills, just like Alana.
And what grade are you in?
And I'm in 3rd grade, so I'm probably one of the smallest people in this chat. So,
and what about you?
I'm Gwenna, and I go to Potansko Hills, and I'm in 3rd grade. I'm Ipsa. I go to Potansko Hills. I'm in 3rd grade.
What state do we live in?
New York.
New York. Yeah, we forgot that. Amia, all you. I think you're no, Soham, you're next. Sorry. I'm messing up the order.
Hi, I'm Soham. I'm a junior in high school, and I go to Dwight Englewood.
In what state? Amia.
Hi, I'm Amia. I'm a 9th grader, and I go to Ridge High School in Basking Ridge, New Jersey.
Hey there, everybody. My name is Josiah. Like Harrison, I attend Dreyfus School of the Arts here in West Palm Beach. Glad to be here.
All right, so this group of specifically the high schoolers, they came to me, and I think that we're going to get to that at the end of a very important project that they are working on. So if you stay tuned to the end, we'll get to that project. But I want to tell you a bit about how this group came together. So I'm going to pass it off to Amia to tell you about that experience. Go ahead, Amia.
So I actually first met Miss Winnick on a webinar that my 8th grade teacher had set up for us. And then after that meeting, I sent her an email and I asked her, can I be on your podcast? And I said, I know you usually interview these experts for your podcast, but I think teachers and educators need to hear from the student perspective because we're the ones who are going to be using AI in education and who need to use AI in education. And so when she emailed me back, she said that she actually had another student reach out to her too, and she helped us come together and start this new project that we're really excited to share with you guys. But first, I'm going to pass it off to Harrison to start us off on a conversation about AI in education.
Good morning, everybody. Like I said before, my name is Harrison, and I'm very excited to be here discussing the intersection of education and artificial intelligence. First, I want to extend a thanks to Amia for the introduction and to Ms. Winnick for providing this platform to delve into such a significant yet often daunting subject, AI in the classroom. As a student at Dreyfus School of the Arts in South Florida, I've had firsthand experience with the integration of AI into education. And now, as I prepare to continue my education at the University of Texas, I fully recognize the undeniable importance of understanding and embracing AI's role in shaping the future of education. Now, let's address what I consider to be the elephant in the room. AI is inevitable. Recent advancements have not only demonstrated its staying power, but have also showcased its potential to revolutionize various aspects of our lives. And in the classroom, through the introduction of personalized learning platforms to smart tutoring systems, AI has already begun to reshape the educational landscape as well, most notably through ChatGPT. In the classroom, ChatGPT can serve as a valuable resource for both teachers and students. For educators, it can help streamline administrative tasks such as grading assignments or answering frequently asked questions from students. This frees up more time for teachers to focus on personalized instruction and mentorship. However, AI's presence in the classroom has evoked two distinct mentalities: resistance from teachers and enthusiastic adoption by students. And my question is why? When ChatGPT broke into the public domain in 2022, many students like myself immediately recognized its potential to enhance learning and streamline tasks. We become adept at what I like to call detective and DJing. These are terms that Ms. Winnick came up with, and I love them because they simplify exactly how us students use AI. We navigate through a sea of information, discerning what's relevant and real, and then remix it to create something new. Yet, despite our proficiency and higher work quality, we often encounter resistance from teachers who view AI as a threat to traditional learning methods. Educators seem to reject AI outright. Most educators have been fixated on policing its usage by students rather than exploring AI's potential. Therefore, I think the main problem in the metaphorical big red X that teachers have put on using AI in the classroom. This aversion has created a negative perception around AI integration, which all stem from fears of technology supplementing traditional methods of instruction. AI has developed a negative stigmatization, but in reality, it allows students to tap into creativity and ideas we wouldn't be able to articulate otherwise. I've observed this firsthand among my peers while attending one of the most prestigious performing arts high schools in the country. At Dreyfus, which is a hub for student creativity and innovation, I've witnessed the transformative power of AI. For instance, I'm a communications major with a specialty in film, broadcast journalism, and debate. And when I was tasked earlier this school year with creating a short movie, I utilized AI photo generation to create unique set backgrounds that could later green screen into my movie. This tool allowed me to truly visualize my ideas and bring my stories to life in a way that was not otherwise possible. Before AI, I was limited to what I could do with a camera, but now the creative possibilities are seemingly endless. This experience solidified my belief that AI is not something to run from, but further embrace and harness to its full potential. By embracing AI and learning to leverage its full capacity, educators can empower themselves and their students to thrive in an increasingly digital world. This is why I find it of the utmost importance to shift our mindset from one of apprehension to one of curiosity and collaboration. We need to embrace AI as a partner in education and work together to ensure that it enriches rather than detracts from the learning experience. Now, let's learn about AI from some really, really cute 8-year-olds, and then Soham will speak more about the gray area between cheating and academic integrity in regards to AI.
All right, Kent, you're up. You want to tell us
Well,
what?
no.
You're good. You're gonna be great. So just look at me and tell me, what is AI?
So AI stands for artificial intelligence. It's kind of like human intelligence, but it's made by a robot or a computer. So AI can help us by being a more better writer. We could do that by being more specific at writing by prompting, which is generating words to images, and it really helps us. And there's lots of things we could do with AI. So
So some people think
Yeah.
it makes students not as good writers, but you're saying it makes you a better writer.
yep,
Do you guys agree with him?
yeah,
Yeah, you have to be more what?
specific.
Yeah,
To
good job.
I'm bad at
Okay.
saying that word. Specific.
You got it.
Specific.
All right, Gwenna, why
Um,
don't you tell us about one of your jobs as an AI user?
So when we use AI and we're on Perplexity, some of the apps that they give us information for are not credible. So we need to figure out if we can use them or not. So we DJ to make our own detective names, and it's really fun. So now when we look at the apps, we can tell if they're credible or not.
Yeah, because sometimes AI gives us things that are not credible, and we need to make sure we're detectives and figure out what's reliable and what's not, right?
Yeah.
So and now-
ChatGPT is bad.
So here we don't specifically use ChatGPT. I know, Harrison, you use it, you're over 18 years old. We don't log into websites that are going to collect our data and not protect us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Harrison's over 18, so he's allowed to use that. Ipsa, why don't you tell us a bit more about plagiarism? What is plagiarism?
So plagiarism is when you copy someone else's words or something else's words and put it on like something you wrote and say that you wrote it, but someone else actually wrote it. And we don't want to be accused for plagiarism. So in school, we usually we change the words, like we DJ'd them to make them our own detective names, like Gwenna said. So we mix them up to make them our own. So it's not plagiarism.
Great job.
Yeah.
And now one question I have for you guys. People think that elementary schoolers can't use AI. What would you say to them?
That's wrong. That's wrong. It's just because we're a little smaller, and I don't know why Harrison said this, but
No, it's okay.
yeah. So I would say that that's
No, Harrison didn't say that. I
Yeah.
was saying some teachers think elementary.
But that's wrong because we're capable of doing what anybody can do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Soham, we're gonna pass it off to you.
That's 6 years old.
Thank you, Harrison, and thank you, Ms. Winnick, for the amazing conversation. One of the most significant issues is the broad gray area, where the use of AI is not clearly defined. That's where the use of AI does not clearly support academic integrity, but it also does not fall into the category of outright dishonesty. But this ambiguity is prevalent in all classes, not just in the humanities and not just in any assignments where writing is used. Because whether AI is used for drafting essays,
All right, I think Soham is frozen. Is he frozen on your end or is that us?
Wait.
keep it long-term. Sorry, can you all hear me?
Yeah, now we hear
Okay.
you. Sorry.
Perfect. I apologize. So, the definition of completed work is incredibly difficult to establish. What is completed work? Completed work is the work that a student needs to finish in order to consider an assignment as completed. But that's a broader question that teachers have to answer. What degree of work does a student need to complete in order for that work to be solely of that student? Thus, the gray area of AI is arguably the central challenge in this discourse, because it's impossible to classify if a student has truly completed work as their own or used AI in some context. Thus, it falls upon all of our educators to define their own boundaries of AI use. That's extremely important because teachers are tasked with clarifying what constitutes completed work in their environment. This needs to be done on an assignment by assignment basis because no assignment is unique. An essay will have fundamentally different AI guidelines than a slideshow, than a presentation. One-size-fits-all approaches, overarching school policy will not work. But moreover, communication of these assignment guidelines to students is critical. I've seen firsthand in my school community where teachers have made AI guidelines, but students have not understood and properly and not have had access to those guidelines in a more physical or paper form. And that has caused students and teachers to have many disagreements over whether AI can be used on particular assignments. Thus, clear communication ensures that all students understand what is expected of them and what constitutes fair use of AI, thereby promoting an academic culture that values integrity and values true completion and education. To conclude, if you're going to take one thing away from what I've spoken so far, is that AI guidelines need to be created on an assignment by assignment basis in order to further clarify the gray area between academic dishonesty and between ethical and fair use of AI. Thank you so much, and I'm excited to pass it off to Amia to continue.
Hi, everyone. So like I said before, my name is Amia, and I specialize in AI advocacy, and I'm really passionate about the responsible use of AI in education. So first, to address the first problem, I know that as teachers and educators, a lot of you might be scared of students losing the thinking part of their learning process if they're using AI to kind of think for them. And teachers generally are afraid to use AI in the classroom because they think that students are going to make AI do all of the work for them. But the solution to this is this thing called process over product. If teachers use the learning process to assess the learning of students, then it makes sure that students are using AI as a tool, and it actually helps them harness their creativeness, and it helps them make better writing and improve their writing, like the 8-year-olds were telling you, instead of using AI to cheat like teachers think they're going to. And this could be done in like a step-by-step submission of work to the teacher. And so the teachers can see the ideas that the students are generating themselves and using AI to help them improve and to write with, which actually promotes creativity. Which is what teachers want for students. And so teachers should embrace this AI usage because writing and improving writing is about the students intertwining their personal voice with AI outputs. And the AI is kind of helping them with this and challenging the students to improve their writing skills. And another problem that teachers might face is motivation, because it's all about the motivation that students have. If students are motivated to cheat, then they might use AI to cheat. But the thing is, if students want to cheat, they're going to find a way to do it. Like, for example, if a student is given an assignment to write an essay, they could have someone else write it for them. A parent could write it, a tutor could write it. Obviously, the parent or tutor might not want to do it because that would hurt the student's education, but they could have anyone to write that essay for them, and no one says anything because how could the teacher figure that out? But AI is similar. The teacher is not able to figure it out, but AI is going to be used as a tool. And then this is not cheating. And using the process over product idea for teachers to help assess the learning is going to help with this, because then students are using AI as a tool. And like we've been saying throughout this discussion, AI is here and it's not going away. So this is why students have to learn to harness AI as a tool. And teachers could cater these assignments that they're giving, these essays. They don't have to be essays all the time. They have to cater the assignments to students to help motivate the students, because the whole point is that students need to want to learn. They have to have this intrinsic motivation to learn, and that's where AI comes in to help them. And this is why AI has to be used in education. So the bottom line is, the purpose of school is for students to learn all the skills that they need for when they get older, when they're in college, when they're in work, in the real world. And right now and forever after this, AI is big in the real world. And so if students don't learn how to use AI in schools, and then they're just thrown into the real world where everyone's using AI, what's going to happen? Because AI is such a big deal in the real world. It can be used for anything. And a student that has access or has been taught to use AI to benefit them versus a student who hasn't been taught to use AI, that's a big difference. And the student that has been taught to use AI is going to have a big advantage in the real world. And so AI has to be taught and used as a tool in classrooms, starting from the youngest ages, like the elementary schoolers that have been talking to us, to enhance learning. Now I'm going to pass it off to Josiah to talk more about students advocating for change in regards to AI. Thank you.
Awesome. Excellent job, Amia. And, of course, thank you to everyone who's gone before myself and, advocated for the real reason why we're here today. As Harrison mentioned, we're both students at Alexander W. Dreyfus School of the Arts, located here in West Palm Beach. And we are within the top 1% of high schools and performing arts magnet high schools in the country. And so being able to be in an environment like that, I'm still currently at school, as you can see, but being able to be in an environment that appreciates and incorporates innovation has made our experience and journey as students even more worthwhile. And so the reason why we're here today, the reason why we are promoting for AI in the classroom, but also literacy in terms of artificial intelligence, it's not about the technology alone. It's about the opportunity to incorporate innovation through collaboration. And that's something that's been hit on by all of the panelists that you've heard from the 8-year-olds who started off, Harrison, Soham, Amia, and now myself. And so Harrison threw out a key word that I think is essential. I know is essential to us being able to successfully do this, and it's collaboration. And that collaboration has to happen between students, teachers, and administrators, because we are all stakeholders a part of this. There are and still continue to be merits as to why we need teachers' input. You all are the stewards that help to provide instruction, that are there to answer our questions, that are there when we are, in a bout of curiosity. And to be able to not only provide yourself as an answer to these questions or to lend your experience or your insight, but to also harness that and couple that with the endless array of information that's made possible by incorporating artificial intelligence in the classroom is invaluable. And there's a quote, I made sure to write it down because I thought it was really fitting for what we're talking about today. And it's from Benjamin Elijah Mays. He said, "Those who will not run faster will forever be left behind." And taking that idea with artificial intelligence, with innovation and technology, I can't help but think that it's not the wave of the future, and it's already, taking place in society today, but it's quite literally the dartboard of the present. And each of you here today have an opportunity, and we're extending an invitation to you to set off on this voyage with us as we strive to figure out and to fine tune the way in which we use AI, not only in the classroom, but in society. And I think one of the biggest takeaways from today, as it's already been stated, what better way to do this than in the classroom? And it's a great opportunity that is extended to teachers, a momentous offer, if I will. And so I just ask of you all today, and I'd like to assume that the fact that you're here today shows that you have interest in being able to take AI back home with you, regardless of whether you're here in Florida or in New York or in many of the places that we saw that you all threw in the chat. But it's all about accessibility and equity. That's what it all boils down to. And the reason why we advocate for what we're doing is because we want to be able to have access for every student, whether that is in a privileged neighborhood, in a privileged school district, or maybe students who don't know where their next meal is coming from. And they show up consistently to school because they know that at least they're getting 2 meals a day. And so to be able to provide resources, the reason why schools have been so effective at what they do is because they're a hub of resource, a hub of innovation. And so to be able, I know I've said it so many times, And you'll hear it again throughout today if you've been sitting on other panels and webinars as well. But it's all about resource and making sure that we are committed as students, as our students with our fellow peers, as teachers, as other individuals who have a stake in education, to make sure that we are fulfilling our task and duty to providing resource, opportunity, and innovation in the classroom. So that's my 2 cents. Soham, I'm sorry. I'll toss it back to you to be able to take it a bit further. Thank you.
Wait, I'm just going to interrupt for 1 second. I just want to tell you that here at Botanico, although I may have a podcast about generative AI and a book, I've only spoken to my own staff about it 1 time, just to let them know our position. I think if you either are a leader leading teachers or you're a teacher with students, it's incredibly important for you to tell them your position and where you stand. And I made sure I did that. And then I like to empower my teachers, and they turnkey trained all their each other. And we built a community where we're really empowering teachers to become leaders and learn and grow together and create a community. So yes, it's incredibly important as a leader to empower teachers, but it's also really incredible and important to empower our students. So that's going to lead us on to the next segment, where Soham is going to tell you all about this big project that we've been working on, and it's related to empowerment. So go ahead, Soham.
Thanks, Ms. Winnick, and I'm super excited to introduce Students for Innovation, which is an organization comprised of all the student leaders you see here today, as well as Ms. Winnick, who is dedicated to fostering a community of students and teachers who work together as leaders in educational innovation. Because our mission is to champion new approaches in education, facilitate skill building, and enhance networking and empowerment opportunities for both students and teachers alike. We believe that through the joint partnerships of students and teachers, we can actually see real change in school environments. But you can explore our comprehensive resources designed to help equip students with the skills needed to effectively advocate for change, learning to communicate clearly with educators, and understanding the technologies we discuss are critical for effective advocacy. And if you're interested, you can visit us at www.studentsforinnovation.org. The link will be posted in the chat as well.
Also, a quick heads up, our website is currently in beta. We've been working tirelessly over the past couple of weeks to bring our vision to life for AI Literacy Day and to get the website up and running. And we are currently working on a robust and much more professional website. So please check back in a couple of weeks for that.
Now I'm just going to open it up to you guys. Is there anything you want to say before we do like audience questions or me prompting and guiding you? You've all listened to each other, and do you have anything you want to chime in and add?
I will say there was one question that came through in the chat. Forgive me if I mispronounce the name, but Mr. Koblinski, asking in terms of how we've seen AI in schools making the environment more student-centric. And I know Harrison and I had, briefly touched on that in terms of how things are working here at our school here in Florida. One thing I'd say, and then Harrison, you can chime in. We have a wide array of sentiments when it comes down to AI. We have teachers who've been teaching at our school for the past 30 years who believe that it's probably the worst thing that's ever come into the classroom. And we also have teachers who encourage us to use it. As Harrison had mentioned, we are both communication arts majors. So his track is film, TV production, and speech and debate. My track is similar. I just don't do film. I do more marketing stuff. But seeing how we are able to incorporate it, not only in our art area, but also in terms of students who are in science. We see it in chemistry and physics, a little bit in the math department, but they're still acclimating with it. But what I will say, based on that, you see students have a reignited passion for learning, mainly because it's all about even though the resource may be given from a teacher or from an external source to a student, for a student to be able to know that at any given point, they have a primary tool in their capacity and at their fingertips, really, to be able to take their learning further, to be able to say, hey, there was that cool idea or that cool concept that I learned about in physics or whatever, I want to learn more about quantum mechanics or quantum computing. You don't have to have all of the pieces and all of the knowledge get a response through AI. So then you have students being able to run back and say, hey, I learned about this, or, can you help me understand a bit more about this? I did my own research, I followed up, and here are the questions I have for you. So that's what I've seen firsthand. Harrison, you can speak more on that.
Yeah, I think like coming from an arts program where creativity is just at the center and core of what we're doing every single day, having like another person or program in this regard to like bounce ideas back off of makes our intellectual and like creative capacity so much broader than we ever had access to before. So like in my opinion, from a creative output, having the ability to just bounce ideas with AI and just like be able to get to places that we weren't able to get to individually, it just creates so many new opportunities and gives us so much more, I guess, individual responsibility because we can do so much more with all this new technology and opportunity.
So that's what I wanted to mention in terms of that question. And hopefully that gave you a bit of an answer. So Hammer and Mia, you can also speak as to how you feel on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna quickly chime in, especially, and this is somewhat related. I think the capacity for AI to help students learn about new interests is one of its most important elements. I've seen so many students use AI to explore beyond the curriculum at their school because instead of requiring outside help from a teacher or an advisor, you're able to fill in the gaps, as Josiah put it, when you're learning about a new topic. And I think one of the most important future implications of AI is individualized learning, especially when students grow older and older and start wanting to learn about new industries, find their own passions. AI will be the tool that helps them do that.
And let's ask them what they think. Do you guys think that using AI makes learning more interesting to you? Do you think it takes away your own thinking? Do you think by using AI takes away your own thinking?
Well, if you're using it badly, it could, but if you're using it to help you, like Mia said, then it's fun to use and it makes learning more interesting, like we do in Miss Lombardo's class.
Yeah, we use
Your
it like
reading
we
coach.
mix it and like so we like mix it up to make it into our own words so we still have our imagination and the AI's
Help.
words in it.
Why don't you also tell them what we did for Poetry Month?
Oh,
Poetry
for Poetry
Month.
Month, we put in prompts like poems.
So you
for
wrote your poem
brainstorms.
first, right?
Yeah.
And then we okay.
Yeah.
So remember what I said, right? Prompting. So we
But we
put
didn't even use a prompt. We just
No,
used our
we just-
poems.
their poem.
And where did we put it
we
in?
put it inside an AI to make a picture.
And then what do we do with the picture?
So we would post it onto a PowerPoint, and everyone would be able to put the picture and it so everyone could
But
see.
didn't we go back? We used the picture and we went back and did what?
We changed the prompt to get a better picture.
And we made
So
our
we
poems
have-
better,
yeah.
right?
Made the
Yeah.
poems
So
better.
do you think that the AI images helped you make better poems?
Yeah, and add more parts
our
into it.
imagination?
You have more imagination and more details. All right, so also, is there anything? I'm looking in the,
I just saw one of the questions, again, sorry if I mispronounced, from Mr. Koblinski, on the process over product idea. And he asked, how do we better evaluate the process and reward effort? So I think a big part of this is kind of shifting and doing a lot more of this checking in during class instead of like on the student's own. That's when they're kind of playing around with AI on their own. But in class, it's kind of a lot about discussion and checking in, because when the teachers when teachers are able to discuss with students, you're kind of able to tell how you're able to get their minds thinking, and you're able to help them with their creativity and help them come up with ideas. And then of course, once they start the writing process, you're able to talk to them about where they are in the process and what ideas they have as they're continuing on, and then kind of work with AI in class and outside of class. So it's a lot about that discussion in class that would help with this process, like assessing the process. I hope that answers your question.
Another thing, because I know we're like just navigating through the chat. So if there's anything else or any other comments that anyone may have, we're definitely excited to talk on it. I know this was, along with sharing the information, this is also what we were really excited to be here for. I'm trying to see. There was.
I'll just share with you. Sorry, that was on me and I thought I wasn't. If you are at ISTE, their poetry is actually going to be on display in the creativity playground area. It's not a playground. I forget what it is, but if you look me up, Alana Winnick, and you follow the sessions I'm offering at ISTE, one of them is the poetry thing. It's in the and there's one in the immersive ISTEverse about debugging creativity and innovation, and it's your first lesson. Remember that when we learned about prompting?
Yep, we like prompt things.
So we
yeah.
put our picture on PowerPoint and you guys put it.
Yeah, this
in
was
a,
before there was any safe one for them to use, and we copied and pasted it for them. That was a long time ago, right?
Yeah,
That was like
probably
the
like
start of the year.
Yeah.
probably like 9 months ago.
All right. So, for my high school students, did you see anything else in the chat that you definitely want to hit on before I call out things that I wrote down?
I like that Mr. Koblinski said that it's like having intern or someone to talk to who's willing to listen to you talk, because like that's really essentially how I use it from like a creative perspective. It's like just brain dumping or like just brainstorming, but actually getting productive feedback rather than just sitting there spiraling. So I just think it's a much more productive way of exploring your ideas.
Yeah, and sorry, Amina. I just also wanted to add that I think the best use of AI I've seen is as a transformative tool, not a generative tool, especially when it comes to content. I use it a lot to transform my existing content. Could be a set of loosely connected notes into a more structured study guide, and that is especially important when you're considering use of generative intelligence or generative tools on a larger scale. I think that the transformative nature of transforming text from one medium to another is extremely important. And I think that is what helps spark new pieces of creativity for oneself.
Just looking at the chat again, I wanted to address another question. How are or should educators support students in developing skills for building personalized learning paths via AI use? And I think a big part of this is kind of helping them build that motivation and kind of catering the assignments to them, because if students themselves really want to do an assignment or research something, they are going to use AI to help them, right? So to develop this correct usage of AI, or not even just correct, but helpful usage of AI, you could kind of help them with creating a research project or researching something that they're really interested about, and then they can teach them to use AI for dumping their ideas, like Harrison and Soham were saying, and kind of coming up with what they want to research about specifically and talk about. And then as they're building their research, they can pop some ideas into the AI and kind of get some feedback back and improve their creativity and thinking through this kind of conversation with the AI.
And I'm going to ask you guys, if a teacher was resisting AI use and they did not want to use it, what would your argument be? Like your final argument to convince them that they need to use this in their classrooms with you as students?
So you can take that.
Yeah,
yeah.
I've been in a situation multiple times, and the way I've had the conversation is, and the way I've had my last ditch argument, I would say, is comparing AI use to one of other services like Grammarly, tutoring, other paid services that are not school appropriate, but students, parents have accounts and students may use those accounts in certain contexts. And even tutoring that many students may be a part of, those are all forms of outside help. Even a student's parent advising on essays or advising on other pieces of content, all of that plays a major role in outside help on a particular assignment. So I would ask a teacher, what is the distinction between a student or a tutor helping a student write an essay and then a prompted AI, I would say an AI prompt making a difference on someone's writing? Because unfortunately, there is less and less of a distinction as we move more and more forward, especially as AI grows. And we will see a point where that distinction is very small. But right now, what is the level of work that a student has to do to consider that work their own work? And is a student getting tutoring different from a student using AI?
Yeah. My thoughts with that, and excellent response, Soham. As you were speaking, one of the things that popped into my mind, I took AP statistics, and so advanced placement course for college level credit for those who are wondering. But with that, I think about the tools and resources that we were able to utilize to make our way through that class. And I know that there are other questions that we might have to answer, but I'll just say this. Some of the most powerful calculators that are able and accessible to students we're using in that class to be able to do. It's more than just computation. We can graph graphs. We can make sure we can put notes in the calculator. And so realizing how powerful of a tool it was in the classroom, our teacher was there to walk alongside us and say, these are the endless array of possibilities and uses that you can use. But bringing practicality into the conversation is what made the difference. Yes, you can do all of this. Some of these features you may never need to use, but understanding that those resources are accessible to me. So when I'm at home struggling how to figure out how to do a Z-score, I know that the resource is available to me. All I have to do is use it. And so teachers, you all are being able to extend this opportunity to students to say, this is what you can do. This is how you can use this. You may never have the opportunity to get to use it, or you may never need to. But in the event where you need to get an answer and maybe you don't have someone to turn to or to ask in the moment, turn to AI. So that's just my thoughts. And back to Ms. Winnick or whoever else was going to.
Right. We only have a couple minutes and there's so many questions in the chat that we're probably not going to get to, but this is just the start of this conversation. So this is not the end. This is just the start. We have some incredible students on here with us now. We know that you probably know other students who are just as passionate and want to advocate for change as well. So does someone want to tell them if they know any students that might be interested, or educators, right? Because this is not just for students, because we need to collaborate with educators as well, how they can get involved, educators and students. Who wants to take that one?
So if you want to get involved, please go to the website we mentioned earlier, studentsforinnovation.org, and there is a resource link and sign up link for both students and teachers. We're really looking to build a national or even international group of students who are really willing to work on AI education and contribute to a broader community where students and teachers can work together in order to make a real difference. So once again, that's www.studentsforinnovation.org.
Someone had asked in the chat if we could possibly touch on that question. Does anyone know where that is so we can address it briefly before we depart?
Okay, and Josiah also wanted me to throw out how you can ask us questions. So if you're on social media, find me on any social media and you could DM me, or you could email info@studentsforinnovation.org if it's specifically about this. And I'm here to answer any questions that you have. And there will be a network for students and educators, and there's also going to be a network for educators just like you who want to collaborate with the students. So there's a place for everyone here. All right, and I think that leaves us 1 minute. So we just want to say thank you so much to EdSafe and National AI Literacy Day and all the organizations that came together to put this event on. And we're so fortunate that we have students here with us, because this is why we're here. We're really here for them. So hearing from them, I think, is the most important thing today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Winnick, and students for speaking today. Such a powerful session. And thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be sharing out the recording of this webinar next week. Please check out ailiteracy.org for more live webinars and resources. Happy AI Literacy Day, everyone. Bye.